Hello!
Testing 1, 2, 3.
It's always nice to see. Enjoy!
Absolutely, I can. Hey!
Oh, cool, it's Marvin. What's up?
Hey there, Python. It's Terminal Thursday. Time to do some battling.
Indeed. Do you want to be the United States or the Soviet Union?
I'm thinking I'm gonna play, actually, the Soviets today.
Alright, do you want any special rules, like no space race or anything? Any special rules you want to put down before we start?
Nah, just full on for victory!
Alright, sounds good. Let's do this.
See if we can hear.
Yep, thank you.
Yeah, for those watching the stream, so there are two ways to actually start a multiplayer game. You can either do a ranked play, where you try to connect to other players, multiplayer, or you can go to challenge mode, host the game, and then a little key is generated for you, which you can copy and send to another player that can join your game.
Alright, currently connected. I've actually been enjoying playing the United States more.
You've been enjoying playing the United States?
Yeah, I feel like I'm really getting good at them. At this point, in the beginning, I like the Soviets more. I say in the beginning, for the Soviets, good for beginners, but the more you play, I think the more you're gonna like the United States.
Why did you have this change of mind? Or what's the
All of the Soviets are so nice when it comes to like government modifiers and stuff, and for the United States, it's a bit of an uphill battle because we have like one finance and one people power starting off compared to the Soviets. The United States has, in my opinion, what's it called, an easier time fighting in zeros due to what's it called, air supremacy. And although the Soviets can catch up when it comes to air supremacy, they do have an easy time starting off. So the Soviets kind of have to pick their battles. But the Soviets do have an advantage of their own because when they have 0 VPs, you always go first. When they have more VPs, you go first. So they do have that advantage with too in the starting timelines. What's your favorite Nathan?
Just gonna reduce a little bit the background music so you can be heard better. No, I think as you say, I like both. I think they represent two very different ways to play.
Definitely.
And within both factions also you can find your own sense of play. I feel that that's sort of been for me to design, and I think a lot of people have been exploring different ways of doing them. I mean, obviously with the Soviet Union you will start off being rather more bunched up in one place, but yeah, I mean, for sure. With the US,
The Soviets definitely have to pick. Yeah, they definitely have to pick their battles more.
Arms race.
Let's see where to go.
So one-sided disarmament. Disarming gives you more political favor, so interesting. Getting new policies as well.
Who just joined?
Leaders.
We have
enabled our nuclear bomber commands can now deliver nuclear strikes.
You have a gameplay today?
No, I just want to watch.
Alright, sounds good.
Hey! Warm welcomes in. So Python began here with a very interesting first play. Basically making Moscow a little bit more liberal. Which also, of course, means that, he seeks to disrupt my logistics line. If you do manage to get the the capital, the logistics capital, marked by this particular little marker right next to its influence, this asterisk, down to below
Like zero.
or to zero influence, so that it becomes neutral. Then what will happen is this logistical headquarter will be moved somewhere else. So it's
Yeah, that's pretty interesting.
also Python tries to do this because I think he's quite well aware that I don't have an army command right from the get-go.
I believe you have at least. I think you have a bomber command there.
No comment.
Yeah, if he wants to take back Moscow, at least start working towards it, he's gonna have to waste at least 2 turns, 1 to place it, and the 2 to spread the influence there. So that's 2 turns out of his focus already.
Yeah, but in the Soviet High Command, we just believe that this is a sideshow. It's a distraction. Instead, we will be deciding on the fate of Germany.
Interesting.
Yeah, definitely go with... Both of these are pretty good options, depending on what we actually want to accomplish. And
Actually, I have a question.
Yeah.
In the picture, we have a code.
Yeah,
The
that's
part of code.
very observant, indeed. Yeah.
Yeah, I already find some codes, short part of codes. I should assume it, or how it work?
Yes. So that's a very good question, actually. There are more clues in this decision chain than actually just the codes. But let me give you a little clue about it, and that is that the codes themselves. I got the question, how do you put the codes together? How do you know which comes first? Because obviously you get snippets of several letters that you can put together. In which order should they be? And let me just say that the music, if you listen to the music, it will give you a clue of how to put them together.
That's interesting.
And I think if you think East Germany and the music, go with that, and I think you will find a way to put them together. In terms of the decision that we are faced with here, it's an interesting one, because we do need both type of interests for our leadership here. Would be good, but and then we have plenty of this particular interest, but yeah, this option would also make us lose influence, and if we look here, that means that we actually gonna get a pathway into Moscow, just lost influence. I don't think I actually want to do that. So we're gonna go with the first choice. We're gonna hold talks with the East German leadership. Now, obviously that increases our influence here, but that's alright, because it also means we can recruit this guy.
That was early.
Now we run a small risk here, but should be fine. Also, we're gonna return this fleet and capture the Aleutian Islands. Why we don't want 2 fleets here is because if we have 2 fleets here and we declare as we did, war zone. If the United States sends in carriers or other ships, then they will engage both of our fleets, and we don't want to lose two fleets, so we send one back, and in case we meet overwhelming odds sent against us, we have minimized losses. And we get another German, East German element here, the German political machine. Okay, so we can appoint loyal regional administrators, which we don't really want to do. We can grant them gradual reforms. This could be an option, or we can maintain the Soviet military administration, which actually is exactly what we want to do. No. So here the option is really why this would be a good option is because it allows us to act outside of this particular focus. For example, in this theater or in that theater, and we wouldn't compromise our standing because of what this provides, and we have plenty of the resource this would take away, but I think we'll just maintain instead. It's a good option for us. Also, this unit. We want to mitigate risks at this point. So our ship was not attacked, in fact. Good. We don't want it exposed longer than possible. And we can start looking at perhaps increasing some policies. Now, one of the reasons for increasing this one is because there are policies that require 2 of those, and we don't want to end up on 0. So this is a good option for us, because we don't have much alignment there, and we want to increase alignment, and it costs us 2 of each of these, so elites and military. If William was here, he would say that's very revisionist. But of course, we're building the Soviet future here. We want to save this for later. We don't want to use this yet, especially having lost Moscow influence. Now, this is an interesting one because we can use that to regain influence here in Moscow if we wanted to. But currently, we don't want to do that. What we want to do for more turns is actually we'll give a try and see if we can get this. Actually, yeah. Come on, come on. Could have gone better. So the US is also shipbuilding policies. What this tells us is that the US is actually going for either a mid or a long-term game, because policies, as they cost to implement, for interests, for resources, it means that if the game is going to last shorter time than that, well, then there's no point in implementing them. So, and he has now invested heavily. He invested at least 8 resources into increasing alignment. So we're looking at the longer game. Okay, so this is also...
Is that free in the Jackson?
So this is also a very interesting one. Repeat that, what were you saying, Python?
Yeah, pretty interesting deduction you made there, because I went for like long-term policy to... Because I'm investing heavily in policy things, you thinking that it's going to last to the long game. That's interesting.
Actually, we will pick this time, because then what we'll do is... then we'll... We definitely got that back. And that also means that now we have resources to do one more of these. And we're not risking this management or going down to 0. Could also invest in the economy. But we'll wait with that. See, in Western Europe, someone's strengthening their positions, it seems.
No.
Erratic pulse. That's interesting.
Don't mind that.
So more investment into alignment from the US. Okay, so we can decide here what kind of uniform the East Germans are going to be wearing, or if we're going to be marching together here. And here, I think if we pick this one now, then we can't do another investment into finance.
How's it going?
Hey, Waffle.
Hey, William.
Hi.
Might be the best option, actually. This we have. Let's just see. We have 5, so yeah, that's plenty.
Is there an option to spy on one of you?
Yes, you can follow the stream on Twitch.
Yeah, I'll be live streaming my point of view.
And this. We prepared Kimati before, and he can increase his power when he does that. There was a risk that he would get assassinated, but the US did not go through with any assassination, so that's good for us. We're gonna be British Alliance. set influence in French-Belgian zone to 2. Gain 1 military alignment. Oh, so that's a lot of military alignment for.
Arms race.
Would have attacked in the previous no, Permanent Council. I think the United Nations is worried. Now the reason I can attack with this unit is because it has a transit ability, so you can actually go through other regions that we control. That's 3 or more. But now we're gonna be doing this. Just pressuring us. And he is going to push our units. Actually, let's see here. Okay. So well, it could be worth a risk, but not sure if we want to spend that much to make that. Now we'll give it a try. The odds are not great, but would be good. Let's see. That was almost to be expected. We can try it once more. So why are we trying this? Well, because we will try to get this later on. Well, look at that. Did succeed. That's great.
Also in combat simulation, is there any random element or it strictly determined?
If it's random, it will there will be a question mark there, but otherwise it's strictly determined. Random as in you might not know what's there. That's the only randomness there is. But otherwise, you cannot lose it. The combat outcomes are mostly known. There is no random element to it. Like you attack and then all of a sudden you lose something you would have won otherwise. So in that sense, it's predetermined. That's because in the Cold War, unlike, for example, in World War II or other elements, most of the time you do know when to engage, whom you're engaging and why. Because obviously the outcomes are can be so detrimental launching a nuclear war. So we've lost the unit there. And we'll be select the next one. Both of these are actually pretty good. Since we do control the Levantian zone. This one will give us 3 here. And 1 here. So that's 4. And we gain government. This one will gain us an elite, and we gain 5 in the Middle East. Actually, the thing is, this gives him 3 government. This doesn't give him anything. So actually, we're gonna go with this.
Disarmament.
Mutual disarmament. That's good for us. And this is also good. So let's see what Molotov has to offer. Yeah. We'll agree with him. We get to place 2. What we'll do is actually flip this. We don't have many turns, only 4, because this is the second round of selecting focuses. Already selected one.
So Gellert, you have the same, right?
Yep. Now, we don't want to forget about this little thing. We see here, his unit's going to be lost, or this is going to be engaged. He was, of course, waiting for that. That's fine. Quickly secure that. I was saying finance to 5.
It appears the Middle East is still in the fortress Soviet hands, unfortunately. You gain 5 influence in the Middle East. It's terrible.
Disarmament.
Now why I did disarmament here is because if I didn't go disarmament, he would probably go arm, which he did, and try to push out my submarine fleet. By disarming it, I preempted that, so I don't lose victory points, and I actually gain 2 influence to place. This means I can establish a little foothold in Sweden, and I can take away his, if I wanted to, in Iceland, which I'm going to. And his surface fleet is here, so now everything has to go through Greenland, just to complicate things. And of course, we get a little buddy of his landing here. That's fine. So here, what I did is, of course, yeah, we kind of knew he would do that, and that's alright. Now the timeline ends. And he begins with 2 victory points, so we get to pick first. This one, it could be good. But we're actually going to be doing this one. And
Disarmament.
And he would also disarm. It was a given.
We have launched our first object into space.
We'll do that. Now the US is using a lot of air power, which is of course something they're really good at.
The enemy have launched their first object into space.
That's good. It's launching stuff into space. A little bit behind us.
The first satellite. Oh, you got it first. God dang it. The benefit of this is now we've kind of established a choking hold, which can be beneficial. What we'll also do is, let's not forget, what we have here. But also it's quite important not to underestimate. I mean, basically if you look in the message log and you don't see anything that your opponent has done, he's definitely doing something
that oh, say again, William.
Right. Sorry, forgot that the mic was on. Got weird stuff with the guy in northern Scandinavia who was in CK2 supposed to have rights on ruling Byblos, which is, as you may know, is far away from northern Scandinavia.
Oh, look at that! We're going to Central America.
Yep.
America's playground.
Disarmament.
And the Havana Conference.
Time to go to Cuba.
Which poses the question, why are we going there? For us, the Soviets, this development is not necessarily good. So, whilst he's doing that, we're gonna be...
Oh wow, nice.
And with the setup, we can also start doing some cool stuff. And one of those is gonna be to take this. The money trail.
Isn't the tooltip old? Because now you get Olympus Rising already, so she doesn't need to reactivate Olympus Rising, making this...
Well, if you don't, yeah, if you don't have it for some other reason, you can. There are ways to turn off Olympus Rising, and that's one way to get it back. Policy achieved. Talking about Olympus Rising. Well, we're back in the Middle East, Mr. Nasser, and we welcome our good friends from Libya. Welcome, welcome. And still with Nasser. Oh, we're gonna be kind to the Iranians as well. And Iran. We could try to go for this. Next. See if... Relentless pursuit.
Where are we going? Western Europe or Western Europe?
We're definitely going to Western Europe.
Alright, good to know.
The best kind of Europe.
So they say.
And we are going to actually... Yeah, and we'll pick this.
Disarmament.
Gives us the possibility to secure Sweden.
Oh wow, I actually got it. I haven't gotten this of it before because I always finished it early. As the Cuban government fails to arrest the gangs of Luciano, we are about to halt all medical supply deliveries to the island. Oof.
you cut all medical supplies to Cuba.
Yep, I just got to invent for it.
I mean,
A lucky
it was
Ottoman.
some foreshadowing for the embargo that would come later.
Threaten military action instead. Oh my gosh. Let's see what happens if we do that. That's interesting.
Yeah, you can
And
do quite
back to
different
exile.
things there. So-
Imagine invading a country just for a gangster. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I mean,
Crazy.
actually, that is the historical path. That's what the U.S. did historically in Cuba.
Holy crap.
I mean, they considered Cuba to be in their backyard, so they just basically thought, well, we'll do whatever we want, and they'll just have to put up with that.
Yeah. Oof.
As you guys seen, what Python has been doing is building his own wall. Basically securing Central America. Central America is a good place because you can get very cheaply influence there for the US. Now, why I did the way I did, by securing the Turkish Cypriot zone, bringing down the army command down into Egypt, then getting Nasser, giving away the army command, boosting Nasser, we could secure all of these regions in the Middle East, because now we can use the policy of pan-Arabism with Nasser still alive with one power, and actually gain victory points, and we can place a lot of influence. So we're going to be doing that. And that also boosts, of course, our ability to freely put those points out. We're going to definitely do that. We're going to capture both of these, and then Nasser has 1 point left, and we're going to use that to consolidate and get, thank you Nasser, you've been great, and get Egypt. So now we basically rule the Middle East. And also, peace! Look, there's peace in the Middle East.
I guess for now, I guess.
All the way from
That's
Iran
impossible.
to northern Algeria. And people say it's difficult to make peace in the Middle East.
Good for them, I guess. They achieved what we couldn't.
Easy peasy. Okay, so then the US reacts by choosing the Middle East as a focus. Gain 2 elites and increase success chance of assassination by 5%. Yeah, and this gain, by the way, 5% assassination, that's permanent.
Yeah, it's
So-
it's kind of nice, a little bit. We can help out in the late game, I guess. Just once the lead is being recruited.
So there are several options for us here.
Disarmament.
But it would be silly not to go disarmament, so that's what we did.
Wait, the focus granted permanent was 5%?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, otherwise it will
That's
tell
not
you that
explained here. Oh right, for every other one it says until the
end of the focus, exactly.
But honestly, for the permanent ones, if there is room, please add the word permanent. That
So let's see here. You wouldn't want to start a fight here now, would you, Python? The United States is
The Middle East is pretty dangerous.
policy on the Middle East is peace, right?
I don't know about that.
Can I convince you of peace in the
Hey!
Middle East?
Shut up.
It might have to be.
William, he's not for peace.
No, it's the quote from the leader of the Judean People's Front in The Life of Brian.
I mean, why
And
Python
don't
is...
confuse them with the Popular Front.
Why Python is saying it's dangerous is because of the 5th International. Because the 5th International actually grants 1 victory point for each Soviet-controlled region in the Middle East. And we have quite a few now.
Last time it was what, plus 13?
And now we have 1 more. But I'm pretty sure
Next timeline, alright.
the United States is up to something. Mining concessions. So we're going to Sub-Saharan Africa. Interesting, yeah.
Disarmament. We have launched our first animal into orbit. We have sent our first man into space.
Now, things are pretty good. We're gonna... Why we remove that unit is because it serves no purpose. It, whilst there's a risk that it gets attacked. And besides, a lot of our units have been infiltrated. Apparently, there
No
was
idea what you're
this-
talking about, man.
There was this nastiness where US spies infiltrated our units. Is
I
this
deny
true?
this. No, that's ridiculous.
Well, let's find out if that's ridiculous by doing something fun. Well, wait a minute. Actually, first, before we do that, yeah. So we both have 10 influence each, and of course why that is interesting is because
Whoever had the most finance to end this turn gains +2 influence there. Oh, it's only for me though. If I have more influence, I need +2 influence. That's convenient.
gain 2 influence of them. So declared if we disarm. And so that means can't attack units
It
that
works
are in
for
controlled regions.
mutual disarm or one-sided disarm.
Say again?
It works. This rule works for mutual disarm or one-sided
No.
disarm.
So in a one-sided disarmament, the one that disarmed cannot declare new war zones because you set your country on a footing where basically your aim is to disarm. So your entire military apparatus is working towards fulfilling that goal of disarming. So they're not in a position to be attacking. And for that reason, if you arm, then you do gain an advantage in being able to attack. We saw here earlier, by the way, I just want to point out that there's a carrier fleet in this theater somewhere, because the US carried out the carrier strike in Ethiopian Djiboutian zone, which is here. But of course, we didn't have any unit there. So that was a failure. And now he thought that we went to Angola, but we didn't. We went back to Djiboutian zone because as a way of tricking him, we went back to where he just had attacked. So it's a cat and mouse game here in sub-Saharan Africa.
That means just reveal your action.
Well, he knew my action because of the fact that he didn't destroy anything in Angola, and because wait a minute, that done there. We are going to hold on a sec.
Yep.
Yep. Okay. So Kimati will lose 1 power. Yeah. Okay, that should be fine. That. People power. This can be good. So reduce that down to 3. And now we get to select the focus.
Please explain in which situation we choose delay focus.
So delay has several elements to it. One of those is that you can convert people into elites. So if you for some reason want to gain more elites, you can choose delay just for that reason alone. You cannot delay the very first focus selection each timeline. So only the second round or the third round can you actually choose delay. Now, one way delay can be used is basically when you select a focus, you're not only gaining yourself turns, but you're also giving equal amount of turns to your opponent. And in some situations, you might not want to give your opponent any turns at all, especially if you already have a very good position. And for example, now I have to select between these theaters and produce turns in those theaters, which means I can do things in them, but my opponent can also do things in them. Now, I might not want to have that happen. For example, I was playing a game, was it 2 weeks ago? Python, we were playing a game where basically I delayed. Python wanted to gain victory by gaining more turns to be able to attack my units and destroy them. But I didn't want that. I wanted the timeout to end as quickly as possible, because by doing so, I did not allow him to destroy my units. So instead of selecting a further focus where he could gain turns and actions, it can be a wise strategy to just disarm and basically choose delay, which means that if he also delays or he has nothing else left to choose, then the timeline will end quicker and I get to go to the next step. So for example, if you're rushing to get, let's say, you want to get up the space race, that could be one way of doing that. Or if you're rushing to get a new set of focuses instead of the current ones you have, that could be also another way of doing so. And in fact, Python, you did lose that game, right, because of that?
Yeah, I lost it because of the mismanagement.
Exactly, because then he couldn't spend. What he had done is he had overspent on gaining alignment, and I figured that out. And by not allowing him any further actions in the timeline, what ended up happening is we just went over to the next timeline, and everything he gained, whatever he had in alignment, added on to what he already had, which was almost maxed. so he ended up getting mismanagement.
It's
Oof.
tricky.
Yeah, so you can. There are ways of you where you can outsmart your opponent in so many different ways. Now I choose the Bolshoi tour, and what this does is, as you guys now see, it reduced heavily his logistics into Western Europe.
Disarmament.
And he disarmed all of the United States as well. Wow. I didn't think you were gonna do that. So
Minus 15 doomsday at once.
yep. So we're in peace.
Yep.
Also 7 influence to the Soviets, so now it's even
Oh, wow.
has even less. Losing Canada, nice. I like this. I like the development. That also means that his units in Western Europe now are pretty much trapped where they are, because I cut off the supply side on this in Western Europe and now also in North America.
So this game is defending supply side economics.
The race. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
But
pretty
but
much.
but you guys now see that what this does, it enables the forces that I have now initially pushed into Western Europe to draw him into Western Europe, and he did. And now by cutting things off, basically they're trapped here, and he has no forces in North America. Yeah, I mean this gives us advantages for sure.
Also, by saying there is peace, I made me think of, oh, there is peace! Hurrah!
Hurrah!
The Great War 1914-1917. Actually, this is because the barrage has ceased in preparation for the Great Offensive.
No, there's no need for a great offensive. It's right? I mean, the Soviet Union is peaceful. We would never.
Yes, a collective regime of peace and love.
Peace and love. all
And
the
the
way.
Soviet Union was the first. Soviet Union not only illegally seized the Aleutian Islands, but they invaded Western Europe.
Only to maintain peace.
Lies.
So this means we can. Much of this is secure, but I'm kind of worried what he has been doing otherwise. There is. Oh. Oh. Sure, I can draw down the master audio a little bit. So, when we look at the map, essentially, there is still the great unknown. What's over here? We haven't seen anything. And it would be, when things are going well for you, just as in real life, you should ask yourself, why is that? Not only when things are going bad, but also when things are going good. Because it's good to reflect over it, just in case. At the end of the day, you have known unknowns, as Donald Rumsfeld said, and you have unknown unknowns. And what you wanna... The known unknowns you can do something about, but you wanna also have an insurance policy against the unknown unknowns. And unlike Donald Rumsfeld, it can be a good idea to build an exit strategy. So essentially that's what we're doing now. We're just making sure that we're not being screwed over. Also return to our... Okay. Three more turns. Two more turns. I'm gonna use one for capturing that. And then we're gonna use one for this. Nasty US spies. Okay, cool. Then have our last turn. If we would have failed that, then we would have essentially just jumped onto the next selection. But now we can use Ho Chi Minh to his utmost. Thank you, Ho Chi Minh, for that. And essentially we're playing the same type of strategy here thus far as the Soviet Union did, building up satellites all around us. And here we go, East Asia. So yeah,
And all above us.
as we suspected, there would be a move, and I think this is probably the one. We see that the move has been made. So the question is, what should we do about it?
Disarmament.
We're gonna go with disarmament. This gives us a little buffer.
Actually,
And in,
influence point connected to the number of armies you garrison, or not?
so disarmament, the amount of doomsday reduced is connected to the number of armies, but the influence is connected to how many turns the focus actually gives.
Mm-hmm.
And now we wanna make it as difficult as possible for him to get to us. So we're gonna remove Guam. Gonna get that, actually. It's a good one. We want to be removing Okinawa as well. We get a little Mao. We actually declare war there. Does not matter for us. Since we did disarm everything. Now the danger with disarming everything is that you are actually open for invasion. And so, especially if your opponent has a lot of people, and that he does. But we denied him the use of his air power there, and he did not disarm, which essentially means that, yeah, he has units there. Let's just see, do we have the angles covered? Might be wise to. Ooh, we detected the US operation. Hey, what you been up to?
Oh, nothing.
Not useful enough for us. We don't have anywhere. We don't want to place anything here. And so I think we'll pick this. That would be good. But, we'll try one of these.
What?
Now we know. That allows us to do this without
Our bomber
mismanagement.
commands can now deliver ballistic strikes.
Probably good to keep an eye on that, but in the meantime, I think we're gonna recruit our little prince. And we're gonna use him to get Afghanistan. Wow. That's not a good option. Rally global influence. Not the best option either. Stall for time. Now we're gonna rally global influence. Perhaps. No, actually, we're gonna stall for time.
Out.
That was good. Since we have the prince, we'll try and get into China. I mean, we have quite a decent buffer here, but it's not great. Good enough. He's not rebuilt Midway and Wake Island, the influence there, so it's still costly to do things. But of course, it helps that this is a focus now and can move around units there.
Oh, let's get
Should that be?
It's waste.
Say again? William?
Right, it's a fun in a text in CK2. I finally got it by rereading it and saying, oh, that's what it's supposed to mean, but they couldn't make a direct reference to. They couldn't be too explicit with the text. Both because that would increase the H rating, also probably not considering what else is in the game. And it's also useful because if you're going to get wasted, you will at least pretend that you are not going to get wasted and that you are just socializing.
So what we also want to do is we want to go here. Let's just see actually. Right. So can try and do this again. No, probably it's a good idea to go full out. All right, let's go. So the key to this is try not to fight where you're weak. Try to improve your position where you have relative strength, and basically, yeah, try to contain your opponent where you don't. So I mean, going into East Asia now would be suicide, and Python knows it, so he's just continuously exploiting that situation.
China belongs to the nationalist.
We have one more turn left, and I think with that we'll go with this. And yeah, probably would be wise to increase. And now, actually, let's go with finance. This could be an idea later on, but for now we'll save that. We have an extra turn because of the choice we made there, and what we want to use that extra turn for is just to flip this. No, actually, could also do that. Let's flip this. Here we go. And now we get to pick. Obviously this is not a good pick for us. This would be a better one, because then we might get away from being punished. Now this is an interesting one, because it would impact something that's dear to him, but we don't want to give this away. So those are the two choices, and with this one we wouldn't, so we're gonna go with that. There we go. We're gonna tour Berlin. Cool, huh? Berlin tour all the way. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Was power to Molotov Molotov do?
So we actually enable Molotov here, and there are elements that are connected to Molotov. And he gains some extra power as well. He starts off with some extra power.
Arms race.
So one-side disarmament, but you guys, what you will notice is I did not select the Berlin tour until much later on in the timeline, so that the number of turns got reduced. And what that does is, because it only has 3 turns, when I armed and he would disarm, he would only get a very small amount of influence to place, namely only 1. And because if I would have selected this as the first focus at the beginning, when it was worth 6 turns, he would have gotten 3. So, because you gain half. So in this case, not much of a deal. Didn't lose much on that. Also means I can, if I want to, go forth and use this. But we'll wait a little bit with that. First, we're gonna be reducing his influence in the Aleutian Islands. We're gonna do that once more. And then we have one more turn, and we can actually gain control in the Aleutian Islands. So that's our final element. And now we have control in the Aleutian Islands. So it was a good tour of Berlin. Thank you for that, Molotov. In the meantime, the US also did very quick turns, so there is something going on. There's something going down somewhere.
Probably not. Oh man, these are both so nice.
Talking about the devil. Yeah, you were saying, explain to us, what's the nice bit?
2 focuses. I'm gonna pick this one though.
Yeah, we also
And I
have
hope you-
a good one.
That helps you out a bit too much though.
Why he selects focus first in this timeline, usually the Soviets begin, is because I'm leading in victory points. And the faction with the least victory points always goes first. And of course, only if it's tied, or does the Soviet Union then also regain the initiative. So currently the US has the initiative and selects focuses first, and will take the first turn. Oh, Thailand. I kind of knew it, so you see it was good that we made that preparation. So the Thai Malaysian zone is this one. This puts us into kind of a position which is not that great, which is this is what we're facing. If we disarm and he gains the Thai Malaysian zone, then we can't attack it, because we can't, as mentioned before, if you disarm, you cannot open new war zones. But if we arm, then of course he gets a full 2 influence to place.
Arms race.
And look at that.
Influence equal the half of turns in
Yeah.
focus.
Precisely. When you hover over the button, it tells you, so he's expanding policies. And Santa's bringing presents. But we don't believe in Santa. We're in the Soviet Union.
They have their own version.
Yeah, I also remember these. They had these photographs with like Stalin, Santa, and.
Yes, Stalin, Santa, and al-Baghdadi discussing who has the best bird, and Stalin won.
I don't understand in which region this surface fleet located.
No, it's in Thai Malaysian zone. Oh, we just got invaded. Look at that. Well, that's. Thank you, Mr. Jap. Arrives. Takes care of that situation.
We have completed our first rendezvous in space.
Usually otherwise if you wonder if where a unit is, you can just select the region and then you will see the unit is shown underneath it. If you can see a unit, you can always see which region it is by just selecting the region, and then it will show you, be that friendly or foe.
Yeah, but why it placed not in the center in this region?
The sea is here, so I think that's why it's placed there. But yeah. So Thailand is a very long nation in sense. Yeah, it has a big coast, and also in this is also Malaysia, which is here on this side. So the sea is in the middle here, and that's why it has a strait as well, which needs to be passed in order to get to the Pacific. Now I can't do that because he controls that. we got the surface fleet, which is really good. So for us, that means 2 units destroyed and more victory points. Now, we could go with this, but it doesn't really benefit us at this point. This, on the other hand, could be better. And in particular, if we look here, it would flip this one for us, as we see, as well as gain us advantages. And what that means is we can set up for this one, because as we see, if we then spend a lot of these resources, and we have less than the amount here, then we will regain them instead. Now we would lose them. So we will select this, and then we'll prepare for that. So here we go. This flips to us, and it becomes a war zone as well. Now the interesting part is how many units does he actually have here? And that's what he will be looking at as well in terms of arm or disarm. And I think he might have air units or not, and if he thinks that we have air units or not.
Arms race.
So we both selected an arms race, and we begin. Interesting. So we want to be setting up for this. And we can do that by like I mentioned before, just play on our strengths, and we dominate the Middle East. So for him to move away from where he's would be difficult and costly, and we have more angles to pressure his forces. So he gains 2 there. We'll do the same here. Now he attacked the unit. That's fine. So that's why we deployed. Now we get a lot of options to expand, and it doesn't cost anything for us to do that. His unit is also reorganizing here. Which means now we can defeat it. And we discover a new unit in Nigeria. He can withdraw this unit, by the way. So we see that is set for the withdraw, and he has friendly territories he can withdraw it into, but that will cost him a turn. Looks like he did not do that, or actually we don't know. We just see that it has been moved somewhere else. That's fine with us. Because the Soviet Union is bountiful and rich. So there we have their unit stepping in. That's also fine with us. Because then we can go straight to the source. Oh no. I didn't count on this, so we're going back to East Asia.
Shanghai sick, baby. Whew.
Disarmament.
So we're gonna get ourselves even bigger buffer. We're gonna go. We could take all of Tibet to get a buffer for South Asia, which could be useful. But then again, he has this path down here as well, or up there, or so. We're essentially gonna go on this way instead, and just annoy him by removing Guam.
Talk about a secret plan.
But he sees that.
But one detail, considering that the Red Dragon Dance has been enabled, could you gain bonuses by activating the the liaison officer like
Yes,
Jude.
exactly. And we
But
will.
nothing in telling you that, which is
No,
something
you did see that. You see it here that those they get activated. So
Wait.
you see what policies get activated when the focus is selected. So you see them here.
Yeah, but it's honestly
And
replace
and
that with
in the text, in the initial text, it tells you that you can.
replace that with a decision.
Yeah, we could do that.
Please just do it. It would make everything easier and clearer.
I definitely will think about that. I know why you're
And-
saying that because it's yeah, I mean I agree with you. It's essentially a good idea.
Of course, I've been saying that like a year ago, maybe even longer.
Well, yeah, I know why you want to have that. And I see that it could be something to focus on implementing because in essence, I mean, it just makes it simpler to overview.
And Linbiao is still not working, right?
I think he is working.
I mean, at least when he dies, the text is empty. So
Oh, yeah, that I saw a bug report about that. That we do need to fix. Yeah. Yeah, and in particular, yeah, having the a decision that clarifies what you mentioned also, William. It makes it, yeah. I see exactly why you're saying that. It just makes for a smoother understanding. The issue I having here now is that everywhere he goes, we're definitely not doing that. Just don't have the resources for that. He gets peace, so so that's somewhat of a challenge. That's what I was saying before, that he could actually end up entering South Asia as well. It's like the soft underbelly of the Soviet Union currently, and he's exploiting that to the maximum. And I know if I move in with land units here, he's gonna massacre them with his fleets of fighters and carriers and all of those nasty things. So we can't, there's no easy way of so we'll build forces where we can. By not... Oh, look at that. Actually, he's trying to take advantage there. Excellent. This will... In actuality, this works really, really well for us. So let's do that. We're still not doing that one. could try for this. Would be interesting if we made it. Let's see. Unfortunately not. Chengdu has fallen. Or rather, they have joined the United States. And now, but look at that! This would be good. Yeah, we'll do that. Okay, so that is no longer an option for us. Let's instead Fujinami will fall now. Yep, it did. Lord. This is really good. Just see here. Oh. Actually, we'll do this. And then, we will do that to gain people power. And we are the only ones who have turns left. So what we're going to be doing is we are going to deploy a unit here. Is that actually beneficial for us to do? Let's see. Well, we don't have. Yeah, it might be worth doing just to gain that. And then we get to select the focus. And as we see here now, this, instead of losing elites, we will now be gaining elites. And also gaining some influence. So this is good. So we're going to be selecting that. We could delay if we wanted to convert these into elites as well. But since we're gaining elites now, there's no point in us delaying. We're going to actually select this. And we will definitely...
Arms race.
There's no secrecy about the fact that we were gonna arm here. Everything else would have been kinda silly. And of course, we will continue put pressure on forces in Mauritian Senegalese zone. So there's a big cauldron there. Poor Python, he's been pouring down resources there. How you doing, Python?
I'm doing good. It's kind of tough to hold Africa right now. Oof. Hanging on. How you doing, Gellert? You have a pretty good game going so far.
Oh, this is a tough one. But
Interesting.
shouldn't get too cocky. Can still lose.
That's true.
So we only have one turn left, and we're gonna keep up the pressure. I could have gone for recon, but since we only have one turn left, it's better to attack it this turn and then see. So basically he has 5 units there, pretty much, we can assume.
Actually, how it is work? You attack the region where already placed multiple armies, and you attack with one unit.
Yep.
It attack all armies or step by step.
Yeah, so it attacks one army at a time, but if there is no one left to defend, then it will defeat all of them. So he has 3 units there now reorganizing, and we see how many turns left on the reorganization. Oh, that's very interesting.
Disarmament.
So we're gonna disarm here. Actually gives us a chance to, but I'm gonna come back to your comment. Gives us a chance to remove this.
Okay.
So it attacks one by one, and as you see on the combat screen, it attacks one by one. But if there are no units left to defend, army commands will defeat all of them. So you can, yeah. Once it becomes our turn, I'll show you where you can read about this information. So there are some units that only attack one unit at a time, like for example fighter commands. They can only attack one unit at a time, and that's what they do. Whilst there are other units that attack all units all the time, like bomber commands. They attack both fleets and armies, and all armies. So in terms of how units attack, it depends on the unit itself. So if you go to here for procuring units, so here you have the army command, what's also important to remember is how much you lose if these units get lost. And you can see here the costs that the units have, and that's essentially what will be lost if they're destroyed. So if we select the unit, in this case we select the army command, it will tell you move to engage any one leader, land or air unit in an adjacent land unit. When only bomber commands remain defending against this attack, all are immediately defeated. Whilst if we, for example, look at a fighter command, it engages one leader, land, air unit, or non-submarine fleet in a target region. So this never attacks more than one unit. But if you look at the bomber command, it engages any one leader and all land, air, and sea units in target region. as mentioned.
What about tanks? For example, in Africa,
Yep.
your opponent have three army command,
Yep.
and all of them are reorganized. And
Yep.
when you attack this three tank, which of them he attack first?
So we can see that in the combat here, he attacks all of them at once. As it says in the text, when only bomber commands remain, basically defeats them all. So
Oh, okay.
as long as there's more units here that can defend, then it's fine. Otherwise, all will be lost. In fact, we don't know if he has any more units there, but in fact, looking at things stand now, if we continue pressing on here, probably, yeah, he had more units there. So now we see, my unit also came up. So he had one unit recover, actually, there. Oh, very interesting things happening in the Middle East.
Israel shall be free.
Damn it.
It's actually a policy I never got to enact. It was like, what's it called? David Ben Gurion, at least 3 power, or at least 3 influence in the Leviathan zone, or at least 5 influence in the Leviathan zone. So that's pretty expensive.
This is not good. We could, I wonder if this would be successful. I mean, this is not good. We need to get rid of her. What do you guys think? Should I try? Or pressure in the Middle East?
You fail too much.
Yeah, I think so too. I'm gonna
The statistics should work. You should win.
Yeah.
In
Oh,
my opinion.
and nuclear war.
Let's see how it works. Let's see how it goes. You only have a few bombers deployed. I had nuclear submarines. Okay,
Well,
okay.
world opinion will be against you for this.
That's unfortunate for them. I like this so far, looking good. Okay, okay, nice. Yes. And lose some influence in North America and Africa, unfortunately. That's gonna be a lot of VPs, I think.
Yeah, and this is why it was good to place the bomber in Saudi Arabia, because he didn't have any units there that could go for it.
So, oh my gosh, how many bombers do you have in the Middle East? Oof. Are those ICBM commands?
No, just bomber.
Oh
command.
wow. Oof.
But you don't have anything there that could reach them. So.
Yeah, I can't strike it. Nice, intercepted in Africa.
Intercepted one with the fighter.
Intercepted one in Japan too. I have fighters there. It's an intercept. Yep.
In order
So
to win,
close,
you
but
sometimes
not
have
close
to
enough.
lose.
Minor defeat.
And in order to lose,
So
you've
close.
done that part already.
Well.
Okay, so
we both lost.
I was talking to Thinking Waffle, and that I guess it's a viable strategy. You rush submarines and hopefully have enough influence to take them out before the United States has any nuclear weapons, assuming the United States wins for the space race.
Yeah.
Ooh,
And
that was close.
my insurance policy there was the bombers placed in the Middle East, and I mean, if I wouldn't have had them there, you would have gotten at least because they took down another 5 regions. You would have gotten a lot more victory points.
That was a pretty good match. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was excellent.
Oof, that was fun.
I actually thought that you wouldn't go for nuclear war at this point, but
I felt that it was that's my best chance at the time, seeing how I had submarines up, and I didn't think you had a lot of bombers up.
like last time when when you destroyed the world with Able Archer.
Well,
Yeah.
none of us won this time.
It
But
was so I was 20 victory points off.
yeah, yep. And if I
None
guess
of
if
us won this time, and last time, and 20 times before.
well, no,
I've actually won a nuclear war a few times.
yeah,
When I used to do early submarine strategies, and it worked out sometimes.
yeah, and but just 3 weeks ago, there were 2 games where nuclear victories with nuclear victories.
Oh wow, nice.
Yeah.
So is anyone else up for Mets?
Well, I wanted to really thank you for this one.
Oh yeah, I had a fun time. It was great.
Yeah. Are there any questions from you guys regarding the match or?
I'm good. Yeah, have any questions, Zany?
No, thank you.
Oh, okay.
You know what would have been cool if you didn't go for the nuclear option?
What is it?
To actually defeat your forces in sub-Saharan Africa. It would have been.
I was losing it so bad. Oh my!
Yeah,
I had
because
to.
it would have
It was gonna get.
3
It was
fighters
down.
and 2. Right? That's what you had there.
I also had like 2 carriers as well, prepared to deploy more if needed.
Yeah, so that means I would have gotten 6 times 3. That's 18 plus 10, 28 victory points for that.
You took like you somehow took a crazy lead in victory points. How did you do that? Oh my goodness.
So what I calculated was if I win that, then we have gotten 28 there, plus the Warsaw Pact element, so another 3. That would have been 31, plus the 27 that I had. That would have gotten me to roughly 60-ish. And then I would have done the space race, the 2 other ones. I would have gotten around 80 victory points at that point. And then I would have used for the Middle East, the 5th one, because I had gotten mostly all of the Middle East. That alone would have given me 10 victory points, or 9 victory points. So I would have been so close to 100 and actually full-on victory.
Oh my goodness. I'm glad I launched then because it was not going real for me. I
Yeah,
had Europe and Asia nicely, but man, Middle East. I can't even take Africa. You got me so fast.
Yeah, so that's what I was counting on, and basically, yeah, I would have gotten after this timeline would have had 90 some victory points.
Well, that was a great game. Oof.
Yeah.
I learned to start. I was surprised seeing how the submarine strategy still works. Might have to start using it more often. It's quite nice. Because if your opponent neglects the nuclear race and this goes for the space race, he can just die to nukes, and there's nothing he can do about it. So he needs to go for nukes too.
Yeah, I mean, I focused really here on drawing you in initially in Western Europe, and then as you did to do the to line up the policies and basically cut you off into Western Europe. What happened to your units in Western Europe? Did you disarm those?
No, I kept them. I deployed a surface fleet at the end of North American timeline in Greenland, and I was back in Europe.
Yeah.
With like free deployment into
Oh yeah, when
Strasbourg
you did
and
the
Iceland.
when you did the when you did the policy to deploy influence, right?
Yeah, I put some influence in Greenland. I put a carrier there, so I could still have my free finance in Europe. It was kind of nice.
Yeah, what I liked was
How do you get free finance in like the mainland Europe? So I always want to get it in Iceland and Strasbourg. Is there any way you get free finance in mainland Europe?
mean influence.
Yeah, I mean free deployment in mainland Europe, like in France.
So I began by I disarmed.
Oh, I should check it out in single player. Maybe I can do like maybe I gotta test some convoy ideas. Like if I have a line of convoys to Europe, would like give me like free deployment there? That'd be very convenient if it does.
Yeah,
it's like then.
so I disarmed, and why I could disarm in Western Europe when you selected arm was because I had actually placed my submarines. I began by placing my submarines in the Arctic. So the units I was attacking with in Western Europe were in fact
Yeah, I saw that.
submarines from the Arctic. And that meant that I could,
I'm surprised you sent submarines in. Didn't expect that.
yeah, but that meant I could disarm my units there and place the influence and get Sweden and Finland.
You've got a lot of early VPs like that. That's a pretty good idea.
Yeah, and then I also used one of the focuses because one of the focuses flipped. Um, was it Italy? If I remember correctly,
Let me think.
I might be remembering it.
What nation? No, I don't think. Did Nathan flip? I can't recall. I don't think a Nathan flipped.
No, actually, I didn't choose that one. No, no, you're right. The one I flipped was Namibia in sub-Saharan Africa.
Oh yeah, that was annoying. You took the. I was gonna activate the leader there, but at the same time I was like, I need the what's it called government from military alignment, so I didn't.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking at some point, how are you trying to outsmart me? But I saw that one of the surprises was when you landed in Thailand, or surprises, because actually I had infiltrated your unit in East Asia, which you had
Mm-hmm.
landed there.
Oh wow.
Um, so saw during the whole play what you were doing in East Asia, and then when you brought in your unit, your ships into Thailand, I knew that there was something going on there, and I had already deployed the fighters to Afghanistan.
Oh yeah. I expect you had to fight it so I couldn't so I couldn't take Vietnam. How many leaders are there for the Vietnam region? I'm curious.
Repeat that.
How many leaders are there for the Vietnam region, Indochina?
How many focuses?
How many leaders does the Soviets get
The
for?
Soviets have 3.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Didn't know that. All right.
You have Ho Chi Minh, which you begin with. Then you get uh, the prince. He's the leader in Laos, and then you get Giap. But I saw you deploy the army there, and then basically I just waited for you to attack and kill Ho Chi Minh. I was keeping him on 1 just to occupy that space, and and you did, and then I knew that I could bring in Giap to defeat American forces there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that was
That's
pretty
pretty
historic
nice.
in that sense.
But yeah, I found a better way to resolve the Cuba thing. You sign to the state thing, and then you was a card. You do the military ultimatum and get like +2 military. So I found a better outcome for it. That's always nice. I guess
Yeah,
it depends on I guess it depends on the situation whether you need military or something else more.
absolutely. I mean it depends on what you need. There was a really bad focus that I got initially, which was that to increase France, Belgium, and there's one more, I guess there, to 3. Yeah, Italy to 3. And
Ooh,
I was like,
ooh,
oh,
you get like a
if you pick that one, I'm kind of screwed because you would have would have secured you Western Europe, but you never picked any of mine. So I was like,
man, that would be nice.
usually that's a really good one if the U.S. for the Soviets, if the U.S. had already secured domination as 5, because you reduce both of them by 2 and just reduce them from domination to control. But in this case, yeah, since they were both on 2, then it would have actually increased both of those to control. But I was pretty happy about the fact that you didn't pick them and I didn't have to. So, was there a strategy I missed, guys watching, that you thought I should have went with?
I think I mainly messed up in my game when it came to not being more careful with my units. They just got slaughtered throughout the entire game. And I think I could have spent my turns better. I don't regret deploying in Europe because I need to make sure if you try to rush for Europe, I can defend against it. But it just suck that was a card. You kept disarming and getting free influence. I wouldn't change anything different about that though. Not yet, at least.
Yeah, and I was also very careful about returning units that I was not using into the command reserve in
Yeah, I
order for
forgot to
not
do that.
for them not to be destroyed, and and that meant that usually when you turned around to do anything, I could have new solutions ready at the go. And then of course in this game I was aiming to capture um, both Turkey and the Suez.
Yeah, you
So
just there's so many VPs tied up in what's it called, the Middle East. It's so nice for the Soviets.
yeah, and of course building that corridor, I put down surface fleets as well, so I could deploy almost for free into the Middle East anywhere, and I could deploy almost for free also into Sub-Saharan Africa. So it meant I could just continue keeping up
Yeah,
the
it was
pressure.
only like one. It was only like one finance, so I can so that was tough.
Yeah. Um, I think then that's it for the after action reports. Any of the other guys? Do you have any other comments?
No, it was nice game.
Yeah.
Oh,
Anything you would have done differently from what I did? Any other strategies that I missed?
No, I don't understand the strategy at all.
Nah, you'll get there. You're a smart guy.
But you was brave.
But did you get any aha moments when with the plays I did of
oh, I
why I
hate
was
that.
doing
Oh
it?
man, that African thing was so annoying. Oh my goodness. Kept
I'm
looking
always
for you.
sorry. I always laughing when you failed Intel
Yeah,
operation.
that was comedy, bro. Oh my goodness. He even doubled back. Like, are you freaking kidding me?
No, it's just you shouldn't play a gamble. Never
I
in
guess
your
so.
life.
I was hoping he wouldn't have though.
Well, or rather, I mean, you should calculate the risk. If the risk is too high, at one point
Yeah,
I could actually have assassinated Golda Meir. I had a 50% chance of assassinating her, but I
no.
opted not to because yeah, I figured if I failed that, I had one more turn left. If I failed that, essentially, yeah, it would just be a lost turn, and I knew already where I needed to pressure you, so I kind of went for that. But sometimes when you don't have that option, then of course it can be really good to use recon and to try and find out where the opponent is, and that's also what I did with the infiltration of your unit in East Asia, which really paid off because then I knew where you were, what you were doing, and where you were going. So that built up security. It meant I didn't need to deploy units in East Asia myself.
For
Yeah,
now, I had a great time playing. Can't wait for next time. I had a great time.
yeah. Thank you, guys.
All right, terrific, guys. I mean, there were more games continuing. So if you guys want to play some more games, just say the word. Um,
See you around, man.
yeah, anyone else up for a game?
No, I have to sleep. But actually, you play only on Tuesday or
So we do Terminal Thursdays every Thursday.
yeah.
But but going forward, we will also be publishing more of the videos up on YouTube, and we will be expanding more on the community elements, especially because one, we want to reach out to more players with the game, and two, we want to also show off the different strategies that you can play because you can select your own strategy and you can
Oh,
outsmart your opponent, and we know that we need to teach the game to players. Essentially, so they themselves can see the different strategies to be played, and because there's a lot of depth in this game, and it means we've been working really hard on creating that. It means growing the community, growing the number of players that play, and yeah. So every Thursday we do these plays, and at some point, if if there will be more demand to expand it, we will be expanding it to more days than just on Thursdays. But for now, we every Thursday it is a chance for us developers to play with the community, and we relish in that. And the feedback from the community has been tremendous, and many of the elements included in the game and have been based up upon feedback also from the community. I mean, it just improves the game for sure.
I think you should really spend time to create short videos about the ideas of the game, the short tutorial. Actually, in-game tutorial is really good, but I think a lot of people don't want to, dig dig the rules really deep. It's remind me the game. Maybe you know War of the Rings. It's board game.
Oh yes, played that game.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful, yeah,
Which
wonderful
game?
design.
War of the Rings.
War of the
It's
Rings,
board
right?
game.
It's a board game.
Actually, your game, Terminal Conflict, remind me. It's because this game is really complicated. From my point of view, because you should spend a lot of time to understand the rules, nuances in these rules, and uh, try to find opponent. And your opponent should have the equal skill to fight. But a game itself is brilliant, really brilliant, and it was it fit. How to say? Uh, 20 years ago, it was excellent. People was motivated to learn it, but now it is hard to concentrate on one game, I think.
Yeah, but also I think that William mentioned some of the same. We do work on, and we do put a lot of effort into um, looking up and improving elements that make gameplay easier to understand. Obviously, we don't we don't want too high of a threshold for people to pick up the game. Um, whilst at the same time, of course, it is a game that it's a niche game for sure. And what we aim for with this is to create the game um, where no one else. The Cold War is a difficult subject to create a game around because
Mhm.
to simulate the the effects of the Cold War, which is this push and shove between two superpowers and the mind game that goes there. It's difficult to build that type of a system, and so and no one else is doing it for this reason because it's hard to make a game about this, and and we relished at the challenge to do so, and why we have been able to get there is we put together a team of of individuals that are really knowledgeable about the Cold War, about the period, and created systems around that really put you into the atmosphere of how it is to govern a country of
Well, it was a
that
bit
era.
more war, I guess, but depends game to game.
Yeah, exactly. And so, as William pointed out as well, it having all of the elements there, having espionage, having um, influence, having the ability not to just wage war, where it's not just a hot war game, which a lot of games are about. You know, you just launch nukes. But
Yeah.
launching a game where you capture the nuances of leadership in a superpower, I think it gives a great insight into the minds of the era and the problems and challenges they were grappling with to solve. And so creating that and refining that absolutely is our goal. And we see that there are more and more players discovering the game, and so we're so thrilled about that, and especially we get I think it still there's an initial step to get into the game, but when people get into the game, they kind of see the um, the work
Yep.
that we've put into making it,
Because
and the
it's
yeah.
interestingly, I found a review I didn't know about of the game, and the reaction was the game seemed not well balanced. While I know that spent a lot of time making something that is actually extremely balanced while being a bit different. So maybe he didn't play long enough to understand that or something like that. But you know, the reaction, the conclusion was the best to you know the best way to win this game is not to play.
Like in that film
Yeah,
War Games, you know.
yeah, like in war games. So I think the end, considering what the point was, brilliantly picked, but at the same time, I had the impression that he missed some elements, or maybe there were also some elements that were already changed or about to change. Uh, Basically,
Yeah, in
uh,
terms of the balancing, of course, I mentioned it several times today that where most people fail in the game, and also fail in strategizing, be that in chess or Twilight Struggle, other board games, you mentioned as well, um, is usually that they play out of position of weakness. And if you play out of a position of weakness, you are really inviting yourself to be defeated. So you should think about when you try to create a strategy, be that for any, not just a game, but for anything really in life and in general, is where are my strengths at, and play on your strengths, because then you will always be in a position where you can have versatility. Um, if you play from a position of weakness, then you quickly just your units become and your position becomes a one-trick pony. You're really good at one thing, but that's it. If you fail with that,
one trick pony.
yeah. If you fail at that, then you're gonna fail like massively because you put all your eggs in a basket. And the Cold War teaches humankind a very interesting lesson in this. And the Cold War is interesting from the perspective also that it's the first conflict in human history where we could have gone to war, but we actually didn't. And to a point, it comes down to leaders realizing that it would be so devastating to go to war, as we saw today, that essentially everyone would lose on doing so. And so you want to push your opponent, but that was my mistake in this game, actually. I pushed Python too far, so he didn't have any other option but to go the nuclear option.
The last time, like the come on, there was a previous game against Python where I did exactly the same. So
Yeah. And so if anything can be criticized about my strategy is that I didn't leave enough space for him um, to expand. He didn't have anywhere else to go. And in a sense, I was covering the soft underbelly of the Soviet Union, but in another sense, we were barreling towards, at some point, going to nuclear war. and so why that's interesting is because in a conflict, things aren't as simplified as they are in many other games. It's not just, you don't just, in real life, things don't work like that. And we wanted to create a game that mimics leadership in real life, and you can't just push in a bunch of units and then, victory. It doesn't work like that, especially not in a world with nuclear weapons. And so I think the big lesson of the Cold War is that we have to learn as human beings of be considerate when we make decisions, not only to make decisions that benefit ourselves, but also benefit even our opponents, people we might not even agree with, and that's essentially what this conflict is about, because the difficulty of leaders during the Cold War was how can they actually maintain humankind as a species on this planet without us getting destroyed. And they successfully did that, which Python and I today failed at doing. So in a sense, succeeding in this game, building up that type of strategy, of course it should be difficult, because it is difficult, but it is something we need to play and learn how to do. It's important for humankind. So there's like a bigger goal with building the game as well. Just teaching people about how to make up strategies to resolve conflict without ourselves getting blown up. That makes sense? Yeah. Terrific. All right. If there are any other questions or comments, just leave them in the comment section. And with that, I would like to thank once again Python for being for the wonderful challenge, and for everyone participating in the stream.
And all the bugs he helped created, he helped, to dig up the other day.
Yeah, did you see? Davide and I, we've been fixing them already. So
I have not been looking at what you were exactly doing. I
yeah,
know
we
you
fixed
were.
it. We fixed them. So in this patch that we rolled out, the bugs you mentioned are fixed, and so.
Cousin.
Yep, there will be a dev diary up this. There will be dev diary up also regarding this, and you guys will see all the changes made there.
Okay.
All right, then I'll catch you guys later. Take care for now, then. See you guys.
See you. Bye bye.
Bye.